Happy 4th of July weekend, friends. Today is the big firework day in my town where we live, and I'm going to go outside and do a little bit of a garden tour here, and then I'll edit it and I'll be putting this up. You'll be seeing this tomorrow, but I wanted to go ahead and show you how things are taken off. I think for the month of July I'll try and keep the tours a little bit shorter. They're coming in a little bit long. If you want them longer, tell me, and otherwise I'm going to shorten them up just a little bit. And look at those guys right there. Those are my new cucumber babies. So I'm gonna flip you around and we'll get started. Let's just start here, shall we? Here are the babies. Cucumber babies. There's a couple of Kajari melon babies in there, and those are basil babies right there. They're coming up a little sporadically, but they're all kind of coming up. And like I said, I'm going to leave these in their containers until they have nice thick stems so the pill bugs will not get them. I will still get cucumbers this season. They just will be later than normal, and I'm going to have to live with that. As far as the beans in those beds where the roly-polies were, I'm not going to be able to get pole beans. I think it's already July. I'm just going to plant some extra bush beans somewhere. I haven't decided where yet. You would think I'd be done with this mulch by now, but you would be wrong. Okay, over here in the pot collection, little tomatoes. I don't think I have any actual. These plants are really sturdy. Let me see if I can show you. They got nice big thick stems on them. I'm really intrigued by these just because I've never done them before. They've got lots of little flowers, but no actual tomatoes yet. The basil's taken off and starting to come up, which is good. And I've got some of these chamomile here. These are the Marguerite. Man, she's pretty. She's just so happy looking. I really like those. I'm going to have to find them a permanent home in my landscape somewhere, I think. As far as the bed over here, she's looking like a jungle. And this is partly my fault, partly the rain's fault. Because of the rain, I have not gotten the tomatoes tied up for the second time on this side yet. And you can see they are very obviously heading toward 4 feet tall there. So over on this side, they look short. They're just flopped over. But I have lots and lots of tomato production going on. You can see I've got nice strong trusses there. Some big guys right there. Almost every tomato here has got actual tomatoes on it. And when I go and tie these up, I've got beans going up. Remember, I've got a dry bean growing in there. I'll get those all lined up too when I go through and prune for the second time and tie them up, which will be after the 4th of July here. This crazy dill. Look how big it is. Let me see if I can get up here. Like, that's my hand, and that's the dill head. I am going to, I can't decide. Should we leave it here for the swallowtail butterflies, or should I harvest it? I might harvest it. I've had another one out in the garden. I'm going to harvest one at least. Again, sometime this week. I have got the garlics starting to die pretty good here. I'm going to give them another week and a half about. And then look, I forgot I put poppies in here. Isn't she pretty? Just surprise poppies. I like it. I'll take it. This middle section where I got all the flowers, I have got all my zinnias are a little slow this year. Snapdragons look good. These calendula look amazing. Got a volunteer sunflower right there that's going to get nice and tall. This is the spot where you can see, so this is all tomato here. Like this tomato guy is all falling over. So I'm going to have to get him up. This is the prettiest calendula, isn't it? Oh. All right, I'm trying to, it's hard. It's hard to make these a little shorter. There's just a lot going on here. Back there, that is my center cut squash, and I got another baby one right there. I'm going to start training those up here. Some zinnias down here. Here are the little pepper plants. Now they are getting a little bigger now that I've gotten all of this lettuce out of here, but I don't have very many. There's one buried in some volunteer snapdragons. All of this nasturtium on the edge is getting nice and big though. And then get out of my plants. This dog, man. These banana peppers look fantastic. And I showed a video the other day, but I do have banana peppers starting on these. So these ones are going to be great. But these ones over here, which are not jalapenos, not as good. Over here, I talked about redoing this area. I'm not going to do that until at least fall. I have got these runner beans up on top, and they are going up on the coop. I don't want to mess with those. They're going to be fantastic. I'm just going to come in here and replant these. I've decided I'm going to wait until the end of July, maybe the beginning of August, and do something for fall in here. So some kind of fall garden, brassica maybe, some more peas. I haven't decided, but those are going to go in there. So they're just kind of biding their time. Some herbs in here. And these are, ooh, I'm going to have a flower. These are those pincushion mix flowers that I don't know what they look like yet. So we'll see. Ooh, look at this beet. There she goes. We got one. I got a couple beets in here. I'll probably just do like a roasted vegetable on like a sheet pan dinner one night and just use those up. Back here is total chaos. And I would like to say that I have a plan for it, but right now my plan is just to live among the chaos. Lemon balm, volunteer tomato, volunteer calendula, volunteer tomato, oregano, lemon balm, volunteer tomato. It's just insane. But here is the center cut squash that is on purpose. And it's starting to go, oh, I should try and do this while I got you guys with me. So here's this big long vine. I want it to go up. I'm going to kind of move it that way. I'm going to train it up here. I'll probably tie it when I finish this video. Same thing with those nasturtium there and here. You can kind of see they are long and climbing. See this main branch right here? So that will move up and I will have that climb up this little fence here in the corner and go up here. Beans in the back need to be climbing. Sugar pie pumpkin needs to be climbing. I'll get to it. Asters, parsley. This lettuce, some of it is starting to bolt, but a lot of this leaf lettuce underneath is not. So I've been pulling the bolted lettuce and giving it to the chickens and using the leaf lettuce for myself. These are the tomatoes that I did tie up for the second time. You can see they look really nice and healthy. The bees are all over here. I have so many of these big bumblebees. Look at all the pollen on that guy's legs. Can you see? I don't know how he's got giant pollen sacs. Hi, come back. I'm trying to take your picture. Look at, this is the kind of thing that makes my videos 40 minutes long when I do a garden tour. All right, back it out, Stephanie. Back it out. Here's the Dara, and it looks really good. Not all of it is turning purple. Some of it is staying white. So I don't know if I've got a carrot down there and a Dara, or if my Dara is just half purple, half, I don't really know what's going on. But it's pretty, and I love it, and the bugs love it. Rest of the tomatoes, some calendula. I have a lot of these bees right here. Can you guys see that guy? These little green sweat bees. I get those a lot pollinating my flowers. And then I did put some breakfast radishes in here around this volunteer lettuce that came up. When all this comes out, these radishes, I think when these radishes come out, it'll be time for all this lettuce to come out. And I will do a fall crop here, or I will do a round of bush beans. And I haven't decided which one quite yet. This is that balloon flower. Whoops, moth just scared me. And it looks like it's about to start making flowers, which is good because I'm interested to see how that goes. This giant tall thing is Anna's hyssop. This flower's a little bit later. It's really growing on a lot of leaf growth still. Here are my cosmos. This is that rubinado that blooms a really dark red and then lightens up as it goes. Got some more Cosmo friends back here. Cosmos are just such a happy flower, aren't they? Look at, this is a single guy, but look at these doubles. Aren't they pretty? Down here, these are the Minnesota midget melons. They're growing slow, but that can't be helped. They're growing. There's some basil in around the bottom of that. Overall, things are growing. Some things really well, some things really slow, and kind of that's the nature of gardening. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, and you never know until you try which way it's going to be. So another factor we've got going on right now is we have got these wildfires in Quebec over in Canada, and we're getting really poor air quality here in Michigan. I have heard and read a bunch of things talking about this is effect that this might have on your gardens. I don't know anything about it. I have zero experience. I have zero education on how wildflowers affect your garden. But common sense tells me if there are enough particles floating around in this air to make it hazy, then I'm going to limit light to my plants, which would slow growth. Common sense tells me if there are particles that are not good for my lungs floating around the air, landing on my plants, they might be inhibiting the uptake of good things in my plants and possibly putting bad things in my plant. That's just kind of common sense to me. So I'm not expecting miracles out of my plants right now. Now, rumor has it this could continue all summer. I hope not, but maybe. And if it does, I hope at least not to this degree that we've had this last week. I'm just going to be happy and take delight in my garden because it's what I have here. I'm going to keep planting. I'm going to keep putting things in holes. If something dies, I'm not going to mourn it and think I'm a failure. I'm just going to rip it up and put something else in because it's been a weird year. It's been a weird spring. Now I've got air pollution. We had a drought and I still have this. And if I would have got discouraged and put in nothing, I would have nothing. So I'm just going to keep going. And if things go slow, they go slow. If they die, they die. But if they turn out, I have pretty things. This beautiful springy bed brings me happiness. Right here in the end, I've got the celery. I've got 9 of them in here. I am going to do like my sister-in-law did this year. Last year, I waited to the very end of the season and picked them all. And I felt like they were kind of too woody to just eat, and I ended up kind of throwing some of them to the chickens. This year, I'm going to harvest them younger and tender and just cut them at the base and then let them grow back for a second cutting before fall. So that's my plan. They're not quite there yet, but maybe soon. Around the edge again, I got all the all of the strawberries, and I am not a strawberry eater. However, everyone tells me that they're really, really good and really, really sweet, probably due to the rain we've had, which is good. In here, I have got another one of these purple cauliflower broccolis. And this one looks like a broccoli, which adds further to my confusion. The ranunculus have all died out now, and I still have not done the research to find out what I do with these corms right now. I'll get there. I don't remember what that is. I couldn't tell you. We had volunteer flowers growing back there. It looks like we still do, but I'm going to have to get in here and kind of clean them up a little bit. Yeah, this bed's going to need to be cleaned up when these broccoli come out. I got 2 more of them. Oh, by that I got 3. I got one over here. This one is making a little teeny tiny head. It looks like it's going to be purple. Oh, something's back there too. Okay. This is a cabbage. This is a cabbage. This is a cabbage. It does look like I might get, there's a little head on that one and that one. That would be fun. I don't know. We'll see. The calendula down here, fantastic. Again, one of those little sweat bees. They love the calendula, as does Ava. This, look how pretty this guy is. It's hard to appreciate. It's underneath this leaf. It's not getting a lot of light. Oh, look at, there's another one. Isn't that a pretty Cosmo? I think it's called Xenia, like X-S-E-N-I-A. I'm pretty sure. Right here, it looks like somebody emptied a pop can into my pot. Doesn't it? That ain't good. Right here, I've got zinnias coming up. They're going slow because of these massive, crazy volunteer sunflowers, which I love. This one is a single-headed one. It's got 1 head in the top. This one's a multi-headed one, which is why I haven't cut the rest of it out. On this multi-headed one, you can see it's still growing on top, but you can see all these little things are possible heads. So I'm leaving its leaf there until they start to flower, and then I'll cut it up a little bit. This big tall guy, however, looks like it's getting ready. Hi, there's a little bee. Do you see that? I hope that the camera caught that. A little bee just crawled out of it. And they're pollinating on the inside. Back behind these, not getting a lot of sun, are the Kajari melons. And then the only other thing in this bed over here is that Dr. Wyche's tomato, which looks good. It's got flowers, but no tomatoes yet, which I expect because it's not getting a ton of light here and it was down on the ground. So that's not unexpected. This looks a little barren over here. We pulled all the peas, but I do have cherry tomatoes tied up now. And I got some coming. So I got 2 cherry tomato plants here and a couple of those kohlrabi. I don't have anything else planted in there yet. I did go through and plant all those Tanya's pink potted beans in here just the other day. So hopefully those come out. Same thing over here. I've got 5 cherry tomatoes, a couple kohlrabi, some sunflowers, cosmos. These strawberry plants all look really good, nice and healthy. And then this is an aster right here. It says it's violet. Oh, it is kind of, look at, can you see the color coming out? Some zinnias. Now, these are dianthus. Remember how early they came out? I'm going to come through here and snip all these off and deadhead them, and it's going to bloom all over again. Whole nother flush. It's going to be gorgeous. This will again be gorgeous one day, but today is not the day. The front pots are looking good. It's really funny. This is one pot. There's the other. This one has got so much bigger hydrangea leaves. Oh, hey, little spider living in there. You see him? Doesn't really want to focus too much. Oh, there it goes. So, here's my thing on bugs. All right, I'm going to stop playing with this. Here's my thing on bugs. I'm not a huge spider fan. I'm not even close to a huge spider fan, but they're good for my garden. So I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to let the ecosystem in my garden play, which is also why I have not declared giant war on the pill bugs when people wish that I would, because I'd like to let nature re-establish itself without introducing anything into it. Even though it's organic, even though there are ways to do it that are not harmful, if I leave them alone, maybe I will get a good beneficial bug excited to come here, and that will make my garden ecosystem better. That's my hope. So back here where the pill bugs live, I have a nasturtium, and that's it. Right here I do have the clematis. Look, they're just so pretty. These little doubles. Just an explosion of color up here. It's so pretty to like drive up to the house and just see this up here on the corner. I love it. That does not mean come try and find my house. That would creep my husband out. Coming up this way, I did plant some zinnias here. They are coming up and fighting the grass that I haven't killed very effectively here. Honeysuckle is about done. I meant to come cut this off. Just hasn't happened. Life. Life, life, life. What are you gonna do? Salvia and the peonies, everything's doing just fine here. Just normal life cycle. Back in here, whoa, look at those mushrooms. Listen, mushrooms are good, right? Look at them all. I have a lot of just logs and natural things in my garden, and I have found that that really contributes to me getting mushrooms. And I take it as a good thing, right? I'm just gonna roll with it. Some snapdragons, some baby zinnias. This pretty Cosmo, which color I don't remember what it is, so that'll be fun. That's the penstemon that I saved. There's the couple beans that have proven to be stronger than the pill bugs. You did good, girls. You did good. Up in front here is the Coreopsis. I think it's the sunrise. Hello, little bee. Nothing makes me happier than seeing all these bees on my plants. This flower, I do not know what it is. I thought it was a coneflower. It behaved differently than a coneflower. I thought maybe it was a black-eyed Susan. Now it looks more like a coneflower, but these are not opening like coneflowers. I guess we're just gonna find out. It's gonna bloom shortly, and then we'll know. I wish it didn't go there because look how pretty this is underneath here. This beautiful foliage, totally covered up by this dude. But what are you gonna do? Move it? Maybe next year. Not this year. Not. It just looks cute peeking out there anyway. We're gonna call her good. Over here, got some random snapdragons, the woodruff. This could use a good cleanup back here. This all needs a big haircut. The oregano, got sage, the phlox. The daisies are looking happy. Some more cosmos. Look at the color on that cosmo. Super pretty. The rose bush is done for the year. I don't think it has another flush on it. I may have to ask my aunts what they remember. There's that pretty Alaska variegated nasturtium. Here's the air conditioner, keeping us from sweating to death right now. Up there in that bucket is butterfly weed. Yeah. Here's the lupins making their seed pods. Feverfew. Oh look, I got a borage right here. All right, that's good because I wanted borage. Isn't that pretty? The animals love borage and I thought I killed it all, but I got some coming back there. I'm gonna transplant one of those over by the chicken coop. That'll be good there. So those baby sunflowers. And the oregano is starting to go to seed. Now somebody asked me the other day if you can use oregano when it starts to go to seed. I think your flavor will be impacted, but what I did is I harvested all my oregano, last week, the week before. I'm drying it out. I'm gonna use that and I'm gonna let this flower and then I'm gonna cut it all back and I'll let a new flush grow out and I'll do one more harvest probably closer to fall and then let it flower again before the frost. That way I get to use it and so do the pollinators. So that's kind of my plan. This lovely snapdragon. Flowers and sidewalk cracks just make me happy. Let's go up here now. These are the dahlias. I had put sunflower seeds behind them, but I'm not really seeing any coming up. And I also had put some over there, and it seems like a little bit is coming up, but not too much. So this might be a big fat fail behind the dahlias. But the dahlias are gorgeous, so I'm not gonna complain. And this corner is gorgeous. Listen, I got nothing to complain about. Even when somebody knocks them all on the ground. I don't care, they're gorgeous. Look, this is a volunteer coneflower too. Hi. And she is starting out purple on the edges, or purple on the edges, like the chartreuse green on the edges and purpley toward the middle. Here's another one. That Tithonia has probably grown a dang foot since we looked at it last. This is gonna get big fast. You pretty, Tithonia. And then I'm gonna need to crawl back there in about a week and start training those up. They're getting long and they're getting little tendrils growing. I gotta make sure that they grow up and not together in a big cluster. And they should grow beautifully right here. Last year I had to stretch a wire from the top of this down this way so they had somewhere to go. So we'll see. We'll see this year. These might be my very favorite snapdragon. These look like the inside of a fire. All the different oranges and they're just so pretty. This fence makes me happy. All of these coneflowers are about to burst. It's just gonna be coneflowers as far as you can see down here. And as soon as those coneflowers all burst, there will be bees here. Too many to count. Like, just too many to count. And this crazy little, this cherry plant, like ground cherries are gonna be so cool just to come walk by here and pick a ground cherry and pop it in your mouth. And to grow when you have this giant coneflower plant. And I planted a Brussels sprout right there. And you still got this big and this healthy. This is a plant that wants to live, friends. Keep them going. Same thing. Adding in some flowers. This is the Brussels sprout that's doing the best. Can you see the little baby Brussels sprouts? They grow in the elbows there. I might actually get Brussels out of here. Wouldn't that be fun? I've grown Brussels sprout plants before, but I've never gotten a harvest from them before. And between these two, I just might. More coneflowers. Ooh, I got some open here. Girls, you look lovely. Thank you for living in my garden. If you've never heard the story about my coneflowers, all these coneflowers came from 2 parent plants, 6-inch plants that I bought from my local nursery when I had to put down my 2 dogs, my babies, Sadie and Josie. They were 12 and 13. And they had to be put down, and I knew they would not live without each other. So we kept them, the older one, on pain medication, and then it was time to go. And so I got one in memory of each of them. And then that first year, I just cut off the dried heads and moved them out here. And every one of these that's come out is from those original 2 in memory of my puppies. And they were my puppies that when I was in my 20s, I got myself as an adult. And they kind of got me through some tough stuff and kind of led me to where I'm at. And I'm going to get sappy, so I'm going to stop talking about it now. But it makes me happy in this beautiful new life that I have right now to stop and look at this memorial from the life that got me here. All right, that's enough of that. Sunflowers. Look, I do have a kohlrabi growing out of the crack. Remember when we shoved those little ones in there to see what would happen? I might get one. One more Brussels that might work out. Here is, do you see that? Here's the sunflower wall. Look at this. See her? Oh, this feels like summer. I got a sunflower in the garden. This feels like summer. So these get a little tricky as the summer grows on. I'm not gonna lie. They get tall and they get in the way of the sidewalk here, so I do kind of come in and clean the leaves off that hang over the sidewalk, and they seem to do okay. So they're almost ready for a good cleaning. Right here is my cool weather crop area. Nothing's bolting really yet here. I don't know if I'm gonna get things here. I do have this guy that needs to come in. I need to eat this guy today. I might have to harvest that today. And it looks like I got another one started right here. As these come out, I'll have a chance to put something else here for a fall crop. Whether I do more brassicas or whether I switch it and do something else, I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't made up my mind. Here are the beans. They have not quite started to flower yet. These are bush beans. This is the sacrifice cabbage. This is more whole than cabbage, friends. But the bugs are staying over here and enjoying that. And maybe I will get a couple red cabbages. Look at this one. Oh my gosh. I've never grown such a beautiful cabbage in my entire life. That makes me so happy. Let's check the next one. This one has got a really loose head on it. I'm not exactly sure what it's doing. I don't know. If someone who's more experienced in cabbages know why that one's head is really loose. Is it just because, no, this one's pretty good. I might get one there. Well, that's fun. All right, so this is the mysterious one. We'll see what's going on. I'm not really sure. You're my masterpiece this spring, man. You and the purple cauliflower slash broccoli. Those are my wins. All right, back over here. This next row is summer squashes and spaghetti squash and the honey nut squash. And they are much smaller than they are this time of year normally. I don't really know why. Again, I talked about, you know, all the different conditions. Here's my volunteer watermelon. And here again are my squashes. I am going to put these up this week. I'll show you what I mean, but they're not quite big enough yet. But they're going to develop a stem on them, and you can use those to get them up in the air off the dirt, and that will help them. We'll see. Here I have got all of my peppers. Like, so this one's doing really well, and this one's doing nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. As we go this way, you'll find the same pattern. Looking good, looking good. Puny, 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 puny. I've got some more here. Peppers are kind of going to be a hit and miss this year, I think. I am going to give them another fertilize. Oh, look at that one's making some. What is this? Oh, those are pepperoncinis. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. So, they're going to be hit and miss. Whatever I get, and whatever I don't, and I'm just not going to worry too much about it because that's how gardening goes. You get something one year, and the next year it's a bust. This is my volunteer potato plant. I did not grow this. I don't think I even had any last year, but we'll see what happens. There's the ornamental allium. The bees love these. Wait until I show you what happens when these open up. You're not even gonna believe how many bees are on those. It's incredible. Crazy calendulas. Remember when I meant to take some of these and put them over here? That didn't happen. Oh well. I've got zinnias right around here. Those will take off soon, I'm hoping. It feels like it's a little late. I feel like I should have zinnias taller than that yet, but again, nobody knows what's going on this year. It's a weird year, and I'm just happy to have food in my garden. Man, that cabbage. I'm happy on that cabbage. That alone has made me feel good. Here are the watermelon that I actually planted. Here and there and here, in between all of the garlics, which are starting to dry out. I'm gonna guess I've got another 2 weeks on these. The bottoms are drying out, but only the bottoms. I need a little bit more. There's my zinnia patch. Here is my dill patch, my baby one. But I do have this big guy right here. This is a volunteer, so I'll get that one going. And then I do have nasturtium coming up on the ends of everything. That's a cabbage. I don't know how you got there. Some more nasturtium. A big giant weed I need to pull. Coneflowers. Nasturtium. Nasturtium. I think I got a chicken laying an egg. And my onions. They're starting to bulb up. Those will be ready in a couple weeks too. Yeah. I'm not sad about this progress. Not at all. Okay, friends. I'm getting hollered at that it's time to go. Watch the fireworks. I hope you guys have a great, safe weekend, and I will see you soon.